Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope we're all having a great day today and we're all doing well. So in this video I kind of wanted to talk about a different game for once, and I actually wanted to talk about Watch Dogs Legion. Now for you guys who don't know, this is the third game in the Watch Dogs series, and it does look very different from the other ones. Now the first one was set in Chicago and you played as one character, Aiden Pearce. And then the second one was about DedSec, which was a hacker group that we were kind of introduced to in the first game, but we never met them or anything. I think they called Aiden once in it or something and like offered him a spot, which he denied. So you only briefly heard about them in the first game. Then in the second game we actually got to play as one of the characters from DedSec, Marcus Holloway I believe his name was, and that was set in San Francisco. Now Watch Dogs Legion is the third game in the series, like I said, and it is set in the future in London. Now, it seems to be a very weird dystopian future that it seems to be, and there's a lot of technology, as it would be in our real life right now. Technology is improving every year. This allows this game to have a lot more stuff than any of the previous other Watch Dogs games, as the old Watch Dogs games were kind of limited to what technology we currently have in our real life day and age, whereas this new Watch Dogs game is set in the future, so they can kind of go off the rails a bit, make some new tech up, and hopefully adds a lot more depth to the level and games design. Now yesterday at Ubisoft Forward they did actually show us a full 7-minute long gameplay sort of thing with commentary through it, and it does show us quite a lot. So, like I said about the first two games, they had their own main protagonists, Aiden Pearce and Marcus Holloway. Now in this game, we don't have one set protagonist at all. We actually can play as any character in the game, and that does sound crazy, but that's what it is. So basically, each character in the game has their own backstory, personality and skill set, all of which come into play as you personalize your team. Swap between characters as you fight to save open world of London on the brink of collapse. So the kind of brief story that they gave us here is we're in a post-Brexit futuristic London, and the government has been under attack by a large terrorist organization, and to help counteract this they have recruited the help of a private military. And this kind of reminds me of Spider-Man PS4, if anyone's played that game. Basically Manhattan I believe it is, or somewhere in New York, I can't actually remember, I've not played Spider-Man in ages, but basically it's under attack. So Osborn and Oscorp hire a private military, and they are actually kind of corrupt, and they have to, Spider-Man has to try and take the city from them, and that seems to be the case with this private military that the government has tried to hire to help counteract terrorism is actually extremely corrupt and are kind of taking over London themselves. So that's where it kind of leads into the gameplay of you can play as any citizen on the street trying to take back their city. Now it seems very cool because we not only have this private military organization, we also have a crime organization that we're shown as well. So it doesn't seem as just going to be one side versus the other. We're going to maybe have like three-way battles at some point, where it'll be this crime organization versus this private military, and what the players are going to be playing under is DedSec, which, like I said, is the hacker organization we were introduced to in the previous two games, but it seems that they have grown a considerable amount. And like I was saying a few moments ago, every single NPC in this game is playable. You can find them, recruit them for your team, though some may be a bit harder to convince than others. For example, they showed actually one of the people from the private military, you can actually recruit them, but it is kind of hard. But if you manage to be able to get them on your team, you can enter a lot of more situations, a lot more stealth, because they can go undercover, they can go in and bypass a lot of the security. But you've got that downside of having to recruit them, which can be very risky and hard. You've also got other things. They showed a really cool thing in this gameplay trailer where they play as like a hitman or something like that. And if you've seen the first John Wick movie and you remember when he goes into the nightclub and it's like all the music's playing and everything and he's just taking everyone down, that's what this bit in the game reminds me of. This guy, this hitman, just goes in, takes everyone out, and the mechanics in the new, the fighting looks insane. I remember in Watch Dogs 2, the fighting was pretty good. Marcus had like a yo-yo or something like that he would beat people down with, and he also had his guns as well. And It definitely seems that the guns in this game are going to be a lot more advanced, because Marcus had like 3D printed guns and he had like tasers and stuff like that. This looks like we're actually going to get full on like arsenal of weapons. As well as that, we're going to have, you know, all these different players, NPCs that we can play all have their unique skills. Like I said, they showed us the Hitman, who seems to have good accuracy, a lot of speed and agility and stuff like that. They also showed us, like I said, the undercover private military person that you can get on your team as well. And they have the stealth option, they have the undercover option where they can go through all the restricted areas and stuff. They also showed us a construction worker, which is pretty cool. And since this is in the future and construction is obviously developed and advanced, they have like these sort of flying drones and stuff like that. So these construction workers can call in their own little flying drones, stand on them, and take them to places that you maybe were not able to get to before. And talking about traversal and places that you maybe can't get to, it does seem that parkour from the second game, which was pretty good in my opinion, is coming back. I know the first game, Aiden wasn't the most flexible, so there wasn't a lot of parkour in the first game, but the second game actually did have a lot of parkour. And I was watching some gameplay from the YouTuber The Radbrad, as he's had early access to the game and showed us some gameplay on his channel, and the parkour does definitely look to be back in the game. As well as the return of a lot of these features, we obviously have the hacking return coming back. So you can disrupt people's phones, control vehicles via your phone, which was introduced in Watch Dogs 2. That was one of the big gameplay aspects that was introduced, was actually controlling cars. Because in the first game, the only thing you could really do with cars were control traffic lights and cause car crashes, and then they introduced in the second game actually being able to control cars with your phone, and it's obviously back in this game. And with all these flying drones and all these vehicles and everything, it definitely looks like we're going to be getting a lot more options just to do with the phones and everything when it comes to hacking cameras, hacking drones, hacking cars. It definitely does look like the game has stepped up a lot when it comes to the hacking side of everything. As you can see on screen right now, they've got like a spider drone or something that they're shooting, which is very cool. Now this game, like the other Watch Dogs, is going to have an online. By the looks of it, it looks like we're going to have a lot more customization than we did before. Because online on the old Watch Dogs was pretty fun, but you never got to customize your own characters. You only played as like the main character, and the other people you're playing with were an NPC, but they didn't see themselves as that way. So it was kind of like they only seen themselves as themselves, if you know what I mean. You didn't get any customization. It was just purely down to the multiplayer gameplay. But that multiplayer gameplay is actually very fun, because you can play a lot of missions in co-op mode, and that just opens the door for so many possibilities. Say for example, one of your friends are playing as someone who's like a hitman and specializes in that, and another one is playing as a construction worker. The construction worker could call in one of their drones, pick your hitman friend up, put them in the site and drop them down in a room or something. They could take them out, help you get in, as maybe you're not as well equipped because you're a construction worker and not a hitman, and help them get in. And it just opens the door up for so many possibilities of a great campaign, because campaign games, I personally still love them, but multiplayer games are definitely more popular nowadays. And when games are able to incorporate story missions and online missions with multiplayer, it definitely opens the door up to a greater margin of players who don't like to play games by themselves, as well as people who just want to experience the game with friends. A lot of games have been doing the whole campaign with friends very good. The Division 2 is a very good example of that, in my opinion. You can come up in a squad and you just do the missions and everything. That game, personally in my opinion, is so much better with friends. Ghost Recon is another example of that. Definitely Ghost Recon is a lot better with friends. That is one of the games that is basically built for playing with friends. But like I said, this game does look very great, and the options with friends and everything, you've got a whole lot of customizations options, hopefully a lot better than the older games, because like I said, the online on the other games were fun, but what was kind of holding it back in my opinion were the customizations and the whole freedom to make your own character. So considering that this game does not have a set main protagonist, and you can generally pick anyone up off the street, change their haircut, put new clothes on them, change their mask, use their abilities, use what they specialize in, it definitely leads me to believe that the multiplayer in this game will allow the player to be a lot more free when it comes to how they look and how they play. Watch Dogs Legion is set to release on October 29th on PS4, Xbox One, PC, which is via the Uplay and Epic Games Store, and the Google Stadia. And the game will also get an upgrade edition and be available when the PS5 and the Xbox Series X releases. But don't worry, if you plan on buying the game when it releases on the PS4 or the Xbox One, and you also plan on getting a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, you will most likely be able to get a free upgrade into the next generation of the game with no extra cost. But that is all I really wanted to talk about in this video. Do let me know your thoughts on Watch Dogs Legion in the comment section below. I also want to open up this channel and make more games other than Siege. I'm obviously going to keep doing all the Siege content and everything because I love Siege, and as long as the game exists I'll still make content on it. But I'm obviously going to make content on other games as well. And I know that these videos probably won't do as well as the main Siege videos, but if I can open myself up and still make that variety of content, then I will continue to do it. But do drop a like if you did enjoy this video, dislike it if you didn't, and I shall see you guys next video. Thank you guys for watching.